We're going to get started here, and I'll introduce myself, Ann Newman, the Chief Advancement Officer at St. Andrews. And joining me is Naja Lowe, our Chief Financial Officer. And we'll both share a bit tonight. So Naja, how about I'll get started and then you can introduce yourself at your slides.
Sure.
All right. So for those of you who might just be getting to know about our flexible tuition program, we are very excited about it. We are a school that is rooted in equity and kindness, and that has been a foundation for the school since we were founded in 1961. And so we're always looking through that lens when we are setting the policies, the programs for the school. So flexible tuition is a program. It's part of our budget. And under the leadership of Naja, myself and Khadijah, we really leaned into how to increase our flexible tuition program and budget to meet the needs of our current community. And so that's what we're focused on as a team. In terms of the process and the how that we do it, the flexible tuition program is a way to look at each family's current financial situation. And then based on the review of that financial profile, find the tuition rate that makes the most sense for each family. And that's why the program is named flexible tuition. So we look at factors such as family size, income, expenses, assets, other tuition obligations. And then most important for a lot of our families that currently participate in flexible tuition is any extenuating circumstances, which we'll go into in just a little bit. The rate is determined based on the financial information that each family submits, and it's submitted to an independent confidential financial services platform. Based on the objective assessment of the application, a proposed award is generated, and then we have a committee led by Ms. Lowe, and we use that proposed award to review and then make a final determination of the flexible tuition rate. This year, we're very excited to share that we have a new platform. We are replacing SSS with Clarity as our new flexible tuition application system. And we're here to make this transition and application process as easy as possible. The good news, well, maybe I should start with the news that is important. Every year, as you know, families have to reapply, and even though if you're currently participating in flexible tuition, you will need to create an account and reapply through Clarity. But that is the same regardless of system. We do ask that you reapply every year. But there's a lot of good news here that we'll talk about. Clarity is streamlined, user-friendly, very secure way to share information. It has taken the educational market by storm. There is not a peer school that is not using Clarity now. So we are just thrilled by the founding team's mission to create this platform. And I hope that as you use it this year, you will agree. You are looking at an application that takes less than 30 minutes. It's also mobile friendly, does not need to be completed in a single setting. You can save your progress, return later. We've seen different times. We went with 30 minutes, though many of Clarity users say it takes less than 20 minutes, which is great. But then basically the whole point is that St. Andrews is able to make those flexible tuition determinations based on our policies, our mission, and then of course, according to best practice and financial needs of the families. Another important part is instead of scanning, uploading, mailing tax documents, we are directly connected through Clarity to have the information pulled from the IRS, and we'll talk about the security and the steps that go around that. But basically, that reduces the amount of information that you need to enter manually, and it makes a very fast, efficient process. While we're on this slide, I'll just reiterate that whether your family is new to flexible tuition, this year it's the first time you've applied, or you're returning, meaning you're currently part of the program, Those applications are due by December 31st. All right, here. And then we'll just share a little bit of tips. We will send out this presentation so you have it, and then we will have a lot of information in the newsletter on the website that will have these tips for you. This is the process. So you'll go to the clarityapp.com, you'll create an account, you'll fill out the household and application information, you'll select St. Andrews. There's no code. You will sign and submit Form 4506, which gives Clarity the permission to pull your prior year tax returns. Then you'll include and complete all the financial information, income, expenses, assets, debt. The application fee is the same as SSS. It's $60 and it is per household. So if you have more than one child, that $60 does cover both of those applications, or 3 or more. There may be some additional documents required if you own a business or such things. We will update that in the portal so that you can see if there's any additional documents that we need. So we'll have you make sure you're monitoring the portal through the process. And then I just want to share from a timeline perspective. As I shared, the applications are due by December 31st, and then you will receive the decision and what your tuition rate is for 2025-26 at the start of re-enrollment, which will be the 3rd week in January of 2025. Wow. All right, and here's just some tips that we'll go over. Again, you can save during the process. So if you have a few minutes and you want to get started and just do your household information and then come back and put the financial in, you can go ahead and click Save and Continue and go back to your work. They do suggest gathering your documents and information that can help you complete the application in advance. And then, of course, we want you to enter as accurate of information as you can, such as bank accounts, investment portfolios, home value, balances on loans, etc. And then this is just kind of part of it is we want to consider all your expenses. So just think of any additional expenses that are happening for your family and input them so we really have a complete picture of your financial situation. And then in terms of the review process, once that application is submitted, there is a review process. So we will look at the information in Clarity. We'll look at a proposed flexible tuition rate, and that's that objective assessment of what your family should be able to contribute to your child's educational costs. And then we do have a committee comprised of Naja, myself, and Khadijah. And again, in that 3rd week in January is when we would provide that decision. The most important thing to note is, of course, that, fairness is we're having some movement, and confidentiality at the heart of this process. So all of your information is completely, strictly confidential. It is only shared if necessary within this small group, and names are really not a part of it. We're just looking at the information and getting to that proposed flexible tuition rate and making sure that we're supporting our families to the best of our ability. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Naja.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Annie. One of the things that I really love about the flexible tuition program here is that it really takes into account real life. When you attend St. Andrews, we know that, your child wants to participate in other things. So it's not just tuition that we're looking at. We really look at everything that you'd like to participate in. And we like to pride ourselves. Now we came up with a pretty comprehensive list, but the list is always being evaluated. It's always changing. There's new programs. Currently, we do offer flexible tuition on other things besides tuition, such as summer camp, the enrichment classes, the sports. We have a school musical that's coming up. We have optional field trips. There's a very exciting trip coming up that goes to New York. It's available to the middle school students. And there's also the Anaheim Heritage Festival if your child is into music and instruments. And there's also a Spain trip. So obviously that's out of the country. It's a long trip, a 2-week trip. And then we have an 8th grade Washington, D.C. trip, which is part of the curriculum. So those things we offer at flexible tuition rates as well of 25% removed from the fee, 40% removed, or 55% removed. And the tiers are really based upon how much your normal tuition, your normal flexible tuition rate is. And so we have 3 different bands for that. Go to the next slide. Another thing that I'd like to share is our actual statistics on flexible tuition. So currently 23% of our student body receives some form of flexible tuition. So the rates can go anywhere from 5% to almost to 90%. That also constitutes about 10% of our school budget. So the money that we dedicate to flexible tuition is about 10% of our school budget. The average flexible tuition rate of our students participating in the program is about $20,240. So that's an average of all 97 students. We took a look at all 97 students, and we do this year over year to make sure our numbers are up to date. And so out of almost $40,000 of tuition, the average flexible tuition rate is $20,240, just to give you that context. And then we encourage all families to apply. You know, some people think, oh, well, I probably make too much money, or, you know, between the two of us, you know, what have you, apply. If you feel that you're having a hardship paying for tuition, you see the price tag on the website, so all of you already are in the program. But we always encourage people to apply, no matter what your income rate is, no matter how many children you have. We just want you to apply, but we do also just take the statistics, and the average family making $300,000 a year or less, the award is about $12,545. Next slide. So when we look at the household incomes, again, we just like to have this for you just so that you can get the profile of what it might look like if you have a family and both parents are working. You might earn $250,000 a year. Do both parents work? Are you a single parent? Maybe make $450,000 per year. But we just like to put this chart up so that you can understand the things that we're evaluating. So whether or not both parents work, home equity, if your children are in other tuition charging schools, if you have significant savings, and then we provide the estimated flexible tuition rate per student. Security. So security with clarity, as Anne mentioned earlier, it's a really big deal. And that was really one of the reasons why we chose the program that we have now. So clarity goes through to great lengths to make sure that your information is secure. We do not see any PII information, which is personal identifying information. We don't see it. Clarity personnel do not see it. So it goes directly from you via the 4506 form that Anne mentioned earlier, directly to the IRS. When Clarity gets it, they are getting the information from your 1040, but your PII is encrypted. And the other thing that we just want to point out is that you do need to apply every single year. A lot of times people say, oh, well, my income hasn't changed, and can you, push my application through? We can't. We really do have to evaluate our families and the situations every year. So we're trying to make it as streamlined for you as possible. The applications, as Ann mentioned earlier, do take about 30 minutes or less. We do encourage you to have all information at your fingertips, meaning bank account information, retirement account information. Just have your whole balance sheet there. For those of you who understand financials, have your whole balance sheet there, have your whole profit and loss statement there, just everything, your budget, your expenses. We take into account everything. We take into account things that you might not think we take into account. Parents have asked, oh, I have students that are in college. Do you take that into account? Yes, we do. I have a business that I'm trying to get off the ground. Do you take that into account? So the way that the school feels about situations like that with families is that we want you to have retirement. We want you to start a business. We want you to feel like you have your house and that you don't have to pull equity out of it in order to pay tuition. So we take assets and liabilities into account, and we try to do it as equitably as possible. Next slide. Oh, sorry, Anne, we can't hear you.
Thank you, Naja. I just wanted to add one piece that once you've gone through the application process in Clarity, this is very unique to Clarity that for returning families, meaning for the next year, they do have a system that generates a questionnaire that will assess if things have changed. And so it's a very simplified application. So it will be even shorter the next year, which SSS did not offer. So again, another great benefit. So that again, once you've done this, we anticipate that the processing time will be even faster for applying the next year. That's something that Clarity commits to. And then lastly, before I move the slide, I just want you to know I had a family ask me today, well, if we've been a part of flexible tuition, is there a general commitment that you'll support our family through our journey at St. Andrews? And I want to say that that's the goal. The goal is that once you're part of flexible tuition, we support you as you need to be supported through your journey. Of course, if financial situations change, we do take that into consideration, whether that means you need more support or less support. But we do look to, of course, commit to your family through your journey here. And that also takes into consideration our tuition increases. All right.
These are some of the questions that some of them we've already run through, but we just want to go through these questions because they were presented to us prior to the meeting. So the first question is, what factors would you consider to make the flexible tuition rate decision? So I guess what we were just talking about, we do take into account needs-based flexible tuition applications. Some schools also make flexible tuition decisions based on merit. Currently, we don't have merit-based decisions, so rest assured, we're not looking at, how well is your child doing in school, whether they got straight A's. Like, we're not looking at that. We're purely looking at the need. It's a financial based decision. And then we also offer tuition remission. So we have faculty who receive forms of flexible tuition as well. We think it's very important to offer that to our faculty as well who have school-age children. The next question is, how is the need measured? Do you work with families in regards to need? I always say that the need can really be quite subjective. Sometimes people have family situations where they have parents who live with them. They have multi-generational households where maybe one person is working. They have 4 kids. There's all kinds of situations. They have a baby on the way. Maybe someone's sick. So there's different things that we take into account that go into the award. So Clarity, as an independent organization, will make the recommendation to us, but they don't always have the information that the school has. So keeping in touch with me and making sure that we have the notes about your family situation is very key. Do you take into account our retirement savings? Big debate on that amongst schools. I have to tell you, sometimes some schools do take that into account. And I think that Anne and I are more of the mind that you need to be able to save for your future. It's really not that difficult of a decision, right? You need to be able to save. So we don't like to look at retirement as, part of your income because we know that, there's penalties if you take it out, like in anything else that put away per the IRS, right? So it's not really like a viable uh, account, if you will. So we try to shelter that as much as we possibly can. Another question is, how is our general savings account factored into the decision? So now that is factored in. Again, it's not that the school does not want you to have savings, but, you know, make up a high number. If we feel like, there's savings there, of course, you need an emergency fund, but if you've got savings that are well beyond what any reasonable sort of emergency fund would look like, then we are going to take that into consideration. But absolutely, can you have a savings account? Absolutely. So there should be no concern there. Are we penalized when one parent isn't employed outside of the home? So the answer is no, you're not penalized. What we look at is, why is only one parent working? Sometimes there's a child under 4 at home. So if you have a child under 4 at home and you've run your own numbers and you realize, hey, it doesn't make sense for me to work because then we have to pay for childcare outside of the home, and then that would factor in, and that would be a larger bill than what I might earn, then of course, one parent is probably going to stay home. So that makes sense to us. If there is if there are 2 parents that could work from home and then one parent is not working at the time, there could also be other reasons why you're not. Maybe you're unemployed for a short period of time, maybe something happens. So just explaining those details to us always helps. It's always better just to be as transparent as possible. We are taking care of 2 of our parents financially. Do you consider that? Yes, we do. So we do have situations like that. And we know that, especially in this day and age, multi-generational homes are really just here with us to stay. It's something that people do nowadays, within like the past probably 10, 15 years. That's the trend. So we certainly take that into consideration. And the last question is, can we use our 529 account to pay for private pre-K through 8 education? Yes, you can. Do we encourage it? Do we require that? No, we don't. So the 529 account, currently the way that the IRS has structured it is that you are allowed to take money out of your 529 to pay for younger than college education. I guess we've taken more the traditional approach where that, you can do that if you want to, but we do also understand that, college is expensive right now. USC is $55,000 per year. So when your kids graduate, who knows how much it'll cost. So I think saving for college is, it's just like retirement. So we don't take that into account. So feel free to save for college. Next slide.
Thank you, Naja. Yeah.
And then just to point out, Clarity wants to take care of parents. This is another major attraction that we had to Clarity. They offer parent live session webinars that teach you how to use the program. So we really encourage you to try to make one of these sessions. I think they've already had a couple as well, but they have them regularly. They also have them for our side, so we'll be learning as well. We can all learn together. But going to one of these sessions, I think might help you, to sort of prepare for this 30-minute application to really understand, what is being asked of you, make sure that your information is secure. We want you to feel secure that what we're telling you is what Clarity will tell you. And we're confident that they will do that. So feel free to reach out. So those are the dates, and we'll also probably follow up in an email or some sort to remind you of those dates.
Thanks, Naja. Definitely. We will follow up with the the presentation that you see here, and we'll also include some links to the Clarity FAQ, the Clarity app overview, and then these dates as well. And I do want to reinforce what Naja said about the Clarity support. It's incredible. And it's just been an absolute pleasure to onboard a whole new system, which I can say I have never been in this position where I can just 100% support them, and I know that they're there for you as well. So here, of course, if you have questions about your personal financial situation that you would like to talk with Naja about before applying, you can reach out to her. Additionally, then, if you have questions about Clarity itself and the application process, they have a support email here. I do see, as I'm getting used to webinar here, a question in the Q&A. So I apologize for the slow
Yeah, I
start
see.
here. This was new for us to do a
Right.
webinar. So let's go to that Q&A. And if any of you else on the call have a question, you can put it also in the Q&A here. So is traveling expense considered or factored in? Like if we arrange a couple's travels every year, will it disqualify us?
Yeah, I can answer that. No, it will not disqualify you. We do know that, families have family that are overseas and, that live other places. Again, we don't want you to feel like because you're asking for flexible tuition, that means that, you can't do just the normal family activities. I think everyone um, travels. I think everyone here understands that, and so no, there it wouldn't be any reason to not to disqualify a family for that.
Thanks, Naja. So we'll just take a minute here just in case anyone else has a question.
I know it takes a while to type the questions. People are speeding and trying to not to make typos.
Great. Yeah, we'll definitely give it
Yeah.
another minute for our attendees here. And it looks like that is the method to ask a question is the Q&A. So take one more second. I hope this helped while we're waiting for a minute. I hope it provided an overview in terms of our philosophy, the process, the switch to Clarity, the why behind it, the process. We're here again to partner with you. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us at any time. Here comes another question. Great. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. I did want to also just point out with the information that Naja shared about our program that she's done an incredible job of moving us to industry standards. So I'll bring this slide back up really quickly before we end. St. Andrews has really grown in terms of the percent of our students that participate. So we've grown from, I want to say it was 11 or 12% last year to 23% in 1 year. And that again aligns with the mission and philosophy of the school and Naja making it a priority for our budget. And so I hope that reinforces your decision to apply if tuition is a consideration, because again, it's what we believe in, and that commitment to our families as they stay here for the educational journey. So I did want to point that out. Again, we will share the slides here today and we'll share the
Also,
information.
and sorry if I
Yes,
can I
please.
just wanted to, I'm glad you went back to that slide actually, because I wanted to sort of correct something or just clarify something, no pun intended, but I wanted to clarify the average flexible tuition for families making less than $300,000 a year. Where it says 12,545, that means that's what you would pay. I think I keep doing it. I think I might have said it the other way around, that that is what we would take off, but no, that is what you would pay. So if you look at it like, okay, I'm responsible for 12,545, that means that we've removed over $20,000 in most cases, right? Because the tuition rates are different for pre-K, K through 5 and 6, but average, that would mean that we've removed like over $23,000 of the tuition. So just wanted to clear that up.
Great. All right. Well, we hope you enjoy your evening. We know how busy they are. We really appreciate you spending some time with us tonight. Webinar is definitely a different format. I don't feel like we connected, but I hope you felt our warmth through this format, and we'll connect again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.